Hi everyone, welcome to today's class. Today's class is called Killer Tree Flow. We're going to be working with tree pose in multiple planes, so it's super duper fun and it's a nice strong practice. We'll be focusing particularly kind of on the gluteus maximus and the deep external rotators of the hip, also known as like the go-go-Q muscles, which are these really deep muscles around the hip joint. Working with external rotation. And just a quick note about external rotation. When you are in tree pose, your knee does not need to be directly out to the side. Your knee can be a little bit more forward so that both hip points can face forward. Often people might think that the knee has to be directly beside them, and when people go in that direction, the pelvis tends to turn in that direction. And not that that's bad, but today we're just trying to focus on keeping the pelvis facing straight forward, and as a result, it's okay for the knee not to be directly to your side, but just to even be a little bit more forward to allow for that, let's call it a neutral pelvis. There's this really beautiful Zen proverb that goes, shin, ku, myoi, yu. Sorry if I butchered that, but it translates as, from emptiness, the wondrous being appears. From emptiness, the wondrous being appears. And I have this kind of analogy of, our mind can sometimes be like a room filled with dust, and there's dust particles flying everywhere. And yoga is this opportunity to invite stillness in the room so that the dust can settle. So, for me in my yoga practice, when I'm really focused and I'm breathing deeply, it calms my mind and allows the dust in my mind to settle. And then the yoga practice itself, the sweaty handstands or the warrior twos, the forward folds, they're kind of like that wet cloth that you would use after the dust has settled to wipe all the dust away without it going back up in the air again. So we'll start on our mats. Please lie down on your back. And once you're lying on your back, just bend both of your knees so your heels are hip width apart or mat width apart, and let your knees come together. Place your hands on your belly. Can you take a deep breath into your hands? And a full breath out. From emptiness, the wondrous being appears. Can we use this practice to find a little more emptiness in our mind? One more deep inhale. Full exhale. And then please interlace your hands behind your head. And take your feet so they're hip distance wide. Place your right ankle just on top of your left thigh. So right ankle on top of your left thigh. And release your hands from behind your head, and put them down onto your frontal hip bones. So just feel your ASIS, your frontal hip points. And can you get them so they're relatively level, so that they're not tilting to one side? So can you get your right hip to be totally level with your left hip? And then once you've done that, can you maintain that and push your right ankle forward against your left thigh and try to move your right knee away from you? And if you're like me, my right knee does not get totally level with my left knee. My right knee is still a little bit closer to my face than my left knee is, in order to keep my pelvis neutral, my right hip level with my left hip. Okay, so that's just what we're working on today. I'm trying to keep this pelvis in this neutral shape, not turning to one side. Both hip bones facing the same direction. In this direction they're facing right now is straight up to the ceiling. Okay, not to the side of the room. Now, can you maintain that and now lift your pelvis up off the ground? And just notice if, especially the longer you hold, the tendency for most people is for the right hip to drop and the pelvis to begin to turn to the right. Try not to let that happen. Keep both hip bones pointing straight up to the sky. Now, can you touch your buttocks and just make sure both buttocks are squeezing? So your left butt squeezing, your right butt squeezing, and then take your hands back to your hip points and then just notice did the pelvis swivel to the right or left? And in my case, I need to lift my right hip up higher so it doesn't drop and sag to the floor. And now can you lift both sides of the pelvis up higher, evenly towards the sky, and then lower the butt back down to the ground. Okay, we'll do 10 of those pulses, so slowly lift the pelvis up. Can you maintain the symmetry across the pelvis? And then lower the butt back down. 9 more, and as you push down and lift the pelvis up, can you squeeze both buttocks while keeping the pelvis neutral? And then lower the pelvis back down. And push down, lift the pelvis up. And then slowly lower back down. 7 more, lift up. And down. Up. And down. Up. And down. Up. And down. Good. 4 more. Up. And down. And up. Notice the further you go, like my right hip, I can already feel starting to droop again. So I have to be extra conscientious about keeping the right hip lifted a little higher. Maybe even more so than the left hip. Okay, last 2. Up. And down. Last one, hold it up there. Can you get both hips even? Can you keep pushing the right ankle down against your right thigh? Good. Keep squeezing the left glute. Keep squeezing the right glute. Is the pelvis neutral? What do you need to do to keep the pelvis, both hip bones, evenly facing the sky? Good. And then release down to the ground. Take your hands behind your head, interlace your fingers. Lift your left shin so it's parallel to the floor now. And lift your head and shoulder blades off the ground. Come up into a crunch. And again, can you find that symmetry from the pelvis? So look towards your hip bones. Can you get your right hip to be more or less level with your left hip? Can you get your shoulder blades off the ground higher? And can you keep pushing your right ankle forward against your left thigh? So the right thigh is moving away from you. And inhale, lower the head and shoulders down. And exhale, come up. Inhale, down. 9 more. Exhale, come up. Inhale, down. Exhale, up. Inhale, down. Exhale, up. Inhale, down. Exhale, up. 6 more. 5. Pay attention to your pelvis. 4, get those shoulder blades up, up, up. 3. 2. 1 more. Get the shoulder blades off the ground, off the ground. Keep moving the right thigh away. Scoop the lower belly in, lift up, and then release. Good job. Right foot comes down to the ground. Left ankle on your right thigh. Hands down beside your hips. And then place your hands on your frontal hip points. And then just notice right here, in a relaxed position, does your pelvis swivel to the left? And can you get your pelvis to turn so it's pointing, the front hip points are pointing straight up to the ceiling. And then notice how you have to accommodate the left leg to allow for that. So for me, that means my left knee doesn't go as far forward to the front of my mat anymore. It kind of comes a little bit closer towards my face so that I can make my left hip point, the frontal hip point, more level with my right frontal hip point. Then push the right foot down and towards the ground and lift your pelvis up, maintaining, let's call that a neutral pelvis for just sake of simplicity. Both hip points pointing straight up to the sky. Push your left ankle down into your right thigh, opening the left thigh while keeping the pelvis facing the ceiling. And then just tap your butt. Can you get both butts squeezing, right butt squeezing, left butt squeezing? Yay, it's a butt squeezing party. Hands on your hips, they're neutral. And then lower the pelvis back down. Okay, and then lift up. And then lower back down. Lift up. Lower back down. Okay, we'll do 8 more. 8, down. 7, down. 6, down. 5, squeeze, down. 4, as you continue and you make it more dynamic, notice how the pelvis can be a little bit sneaky. Can you keep that left hip lifted? 4, 3, lift that pelvis up. 2, squeeze the butt. 1, and then pause at the top. Can you keep both hip bones even? Notice if you started hiking your left hip up. Can you keep the left hip even with the right hip and both sides of your waist long? Good. Lift a little higher, squeeze the bum, and then lower down. Hands behind your head, interlace your fingers. Lift your right foot up and lift your head and shoulders off the ground, crunch in. And then just look at your hips. If you're like me, I roll in a little to the left, so I have to kind of move my legs a little to the right. Ground the right thigh down into the hip. Okay, and lift your shoulders a little higher, come up. Inhale, lower back down. 10 crunches, exhale, come up. Keep moving the left knee away from you. Inhale, down. Exhale, come up. Inhale, down. Exhale, come up. Inhale, down. Exhale, up. Inhale, down. Exhale. Shoulder blades up. You've got this. 5 more. 5. 4. 3. 2. The last one, get your shoulder blades up. Keep pushing your left ankle forward against your right thigh. Open that left leg. Lift the chest a little higher and release. Both feet on the ground. Press both feet down. Lift both hips up symmetrically. Squeeze both buttocks evenly. Just get a bit of hip extension. And then lower your butt back down to the ground. Awesome. Rock yourself up to all fours. Come onto your hands and knees. Hands are under your shoulders, knees are under your hips. Inhale, look forward, tilt your sit bones up, open your chest to the front. And exhale, push your hands and knees down, curl the spine to the ceiling, look to your belly button. And one more time. Inhale, look forward, tilt the sit bones up, open your chest to the front of the room. And exhale, push your hands and knees down, round through your spine, gaze towards your belly button. Good. Inhale, come to a neutral spine. And step right back to plank pose. Okay, so this next variation of plank can be a bit tough, so if at any point it's a bit much, you can always drop one or both knees down to the ground. Step your feet together. Okay. And lift your right ankle up so it's level with your right hip. And then bend your right knee so your right foot's facing the ceiling now. Good. And we're going to play with internal and external rotation here. So just like what we did in figure 4, can you bring your right ankle towards the back of your right knee so your right knee, your right leg externally rotates to the right. Try to keep both hip bones facing the ground. Now do the opposite. Bring your right knee towards your left knee and let your right foot go out to the right. A bit of internal rotation. 4 more. Externally rotate. Let the right knee open to the right ankle to the left knee. And then internally rotate. 3 more. Externally rotate. Can you squeeze the butt? Internally rotate. 2 more. Externally rotate. Internally rotate. 1 more. Inhale. Externally rotate. Internally rotate. Good. And then externally rotate. Pause. Can you get that right knee higher? Get both hips facing the ground. Squeeze the butt. Good. Step the right foot back, plank. Take a deep breath and you've got this. I know it's a long hold to start off with, but I believe in you. And if you need to, you can drop your knee. Okay, lift your left ankle up. Good. Bend the knee. Take the left ankle towards the back of the right knee. Externally rotate your left knee. Good. Now internally rotate. Bring the left knee towards your right knee. Let your left ankle go out to the side. Now externally rotate. Left knee to the side. Left ankle comes to the back of the right knee. Whew! My arms are burning. Good. Internally rotate. Knee to knee. Left ankle to the back of the right knee. Externally rotate. Try to keep your pelvis neutral. Internally rotate. Notice if you're drooping to one side. Externally rotate. 2 more. Internally rotate. Externally rotate. Squeeze the butt. 1 more time. Internally, knee to knee together. And then externally rotate. Pause. Can you lift the left thigh? But keep both hips facing down. Push through both hands. Step back, full plank. Everyone take 1 breath in. Whew. Exhale to your belly. Well done. Take both hands right back behind you. Lift your chest. Lift your legs. This time, internally rotate your legs so the inner thighs wrap up a little more. Anchor the pubic bone down. Inhale, lift the chest and the legs a little higher. Take 3 more breaths. 2. And 1 last breath in. Exhale, lower just the feet down. Keep your chest lifted. Place your hands beside your lower ribs for Cobra Pose. Inhale, lift the chest. Draw those shoulders up to your ears. Draw them back and then down the back a little. Keep the tops of the feet pressing down. Inhale, can you lift your chest a little higher and then hover your hands off the ground for Turbo Cobra. So we begin to wake up our forearms and our wrist extensors, which is important for handstands and any type of bearing weight on our hands and wrists. Can you slide your hands back so they're closer to the hip bones, but still keep them off the ground? Ooh, the forearms turn on. Squeeze the elbows in, lift your chest a little higher. Take 1 more breath. And hands down. Please push back to Child's Pose. Bum towards your heels. Take 1 big deep breath in. And out. And inhale, come forward to all fours. Tuck your toes. Please press back, downward facing dog pose. Bend your right knee. Let your left heel drop heavy. Take a deep breath in. And a steady breath out. Switch sides. Bend your left knee. Right heel drops heavy. Take a deep inhale. Full exhale. Slowly straighten both legs. Full downward facing dog pose. Can you focus your eyes on 1 spot between your feet? Push your hands forward and down, almost like you're pushing through the floor to send the tops of your legs near your hips. Send your hips back and up a little higher. Can you keep your skull right between your arms so that your head's not overly drooping to the floor? Just very gently draw the lower ribs in. Lift the inner arches of the feet. And at the same time, press all 10 toes into the ground. Let the heels soften to the floor. Take 3 more breaths. Deep, steady breath in. Slow, steady breath out. 2 more breaths. Can your eyes be focused and concentrated on 1 spot between the feet? Okay, 1 more. Deep inhale. Full exhale. And come forward to plank pose. Take 1 big breath in plank. Exhale, lower halfway to the ground, chaturanga. Upward dog or cobra on your inhale. Lift those thighs, pull the chest forward and through. Downward facing dog pose, full exhale. Take a steady breath in. Steady breath out. Okay, bend your knees, look forward, walk, walk, walk to the top of your mat. Halfway lift on your inhale. Elongate the spine forward. Fold forward, exhale, let the whole spine release, let the head drop. Inhale, reach both hands all the way up towards the sky. Exhale, hands to your heart. Can you keep that steadiness? Inhale, reach both hands up. Exhale, fold over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back, plank pose. Lower chaturanga. Upward dog or cobra. Inhale. Downward facing dog pose. Full exhale. Take a steady breath in. Slow, steady breath out. Again, can you keep the weight even through the entire hand? So generally, sometimes we can let the weight collapse to the outer hand. So can you just shift and push a little more through the inner hand? Not so that it's more than the outer hand, but just so that there's evenness across the hand. And take one more deep inhale. Full exhale. Okay, step your feet together, bring them a little closer towards your face. Come onto your tippy toes, bend your knees, look forward, step or jump to the top of your mat. Halfway lift on your inhale, maybe you're in a handstand. And if you're in a handstand, exhale, hinge from your hips, and everyone forward fold. Inhale, reach both hands up to the sky. And exhale, hands to your heart. And inhale, reach up to the sky. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift, grow long through your spine. Exhale, step back, chaturanga. Halfway to the ground. Inhale, upward dog, pull the chest forward, lift those thighs. Exhale, downward facing dog. Slow, steady breath in. Slow, steady breath out. Can you keep pressing evenly through both hands? And as you keep the weight even across the entire hand, hug the forearms towards each other as if your forearms love each other and they're trying to hug in. But at the same time, your biceps don't quite like each other, so they resist each other. As the forearms hug in, and as the upper arms resist each other, notice how it just creates this very tiny but active bend to the elbow. And then can you push through the hands a little more, maintaining that. Roll the outer shoulders back. Take one more deep inhale. Full exhale. Step your feet together, bring them a little closer to your hands. Come onto your tippy toes. Bend your knees, step or jump to the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, if you're in handstand, hinge at your hips and forward fold. Inhale, both hands all the way up towards the sky. Big breath in. Exhale, hands to your chest. And so you know, scar A, bend your knees, Utkatasana. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold over your legs, belly to your thighs. Inhale, halfway lift, go along through the torso. Exhale, step or jump, chaturanga. Upward dog or cobra, inhale. Downward facing dog pose, exhale. Pivot the left foot out 45. Step your right foot forward, warrior one. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, hands come right back down to the ground. Chaturanga. Upward dog. Downward dog. Pivot the right foot out 45 degrees. Step your left foot forward. Inhale, both hands up. Exhale, hands to the ground. Chaturanga, lower halfway. Upward dog or cobra. A downward facing dog pose. Take a deep breath in and downward dog. Steady breath out. Good. Slowly begin to bend your elbows. But instead of the elbows winging out to the side, try to hug them in towards each other. And then slowly lower your elbows so they're just like 1 inch off the ground. Can you bring them a little closer towards each other? Good. And now slowly lower your elbows down. If that was really hard for you, don't worry, you're not alone. That's a hard transition. So totally fine to lower one elbow at a time, or even drop your knees if you need to. Okay. Step your feet together so you're in a dolphin pose. Keep pushing the elbows forward and down, sending the butt back and up towards the sky. Now come onto your tippy toes. Option 1, just stay here. If this is tough enough for you, then just stay where you are. Otherwise, lift your right leg up towards the sky. Bend your right knee. Good. Bring your right knee beside your left knee. Your right knee is beside your left knee. And now try to externally rotate that right leg to the right. Good. And then try to bring your right knee a little bit more forward towards your right armpit. And then try to place that right foot almost at your left thigh. So it's almost like tree pose, but you're not going to go into tree. But it's just like you're about to put the foot into tree. So you're working those deep external rotators as we work our shoulders. Take one more breath in. Good, and the foot comes down. Left leg lifts up. Exhale, bend the knee and bring it towards your right knee. And then externally rotate the leg, not the pelvis. And then place that left foot towards your right thigh, almost like you're doing a tree pose. But try to keep opening the left knee to the left. At the same time, can you keep both hips facing down? Can you keep pushing the elbows into the floor? Get your butt high. Try to open that left leg to the left, but keep the pelvis facing down. And lower the left foot down. And drop your knees to the floor. Downward facing dog pose. Send your butt back and up towards the sky. Take a deep breath in. And a steady breath out. And please step your feet together. Inhale. Right leg lifts up to the sky. Keep both hips facing down. And exhale. Externally rotate the right leg without moving the pelvis. So just like we did at the beginning of class, can you keep both hip points facing down? Do not let the pelvis twist to the right and just externally rotate that right leg. Now, can you get your right leg higher without moving the pelvis? Lift that right leg up, 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 up. Now let the pelvis go forward. Let your pelvis open to the right. Notice that you can get your right leg higher, straighten the leg. And now step your right foot all the way forward between your hands. Pivot your back heel flat and inhale. Come up to warrior two pose. Bend into your front knee. Take your left arm so it's like directly behind you. So bring your left shoulder, the front of your left shoulder, back a little bit. Feels like a little bit of retraction. Broaden across your chest. Look just off the tip of your right middle finger. Can you go a little bit lower in your legs? Can you go a little bit taller through your torso? Steady your eyes on one spot. Whew. The killer tree flow. The fire starting to burn. And you take another 4 steady breaths. And rather than running from the challenge, can you settle into it? Three more breaths. Two. One last breath. Well done. Keep the bend in the front knee and reach back. Reversed warrior two. Take a full inhale. Exhale, right hand comes down to ground or block on the inside of your right foot. Take your left hand behind your back and just with the back of your left hand, just kind of touch the right butt. And can you feel if your right butt's nice and turned on and engaged? That's kind of what we're going for this class is engagement of the glutes, and especially in externally rotated poses like this one, where the front leg is opening outwards. Can you maintain that in the right glute? And try to press the skin of the right butt back, almost so the right thigh slides back a little into the hip. Keep the chest opening, and now release your left hand up and overhead to the front for side angle pose. Turn your chest to the sky, maybe look up towards your left inner bicep or down at the ground. Hold for 5, keep pushing down through that back foot. 4, can you drive your right heel down into the ground? And as the more you push the right heel down, the more you might feel your hamstrings and your butt turn on. 2 more breaths. The chest turns open. Keep stretching those left fingertips overhead. Okay, one last deep inhale. Full exhale. Well done. Inhale, come all the way up. Warrior two. Exhale, hands to hips. Please straighten your front leg. Heel toe your back foot in a little towards your front foot. Angle the back foot in. So let your pelvis turn a little bit towards your standing leg. And then from there, hinge at your right hip crease. Take your right hand down to shin, ankle, or block. Left hand up to the sky, Trikonasana. If you can, turn your chest open to the ceiling. Good, and draw the shoulders down the back. Breathe. Can you breathe deeply into your ribs and chest? Notice if you're holding your breath. Keep pressing evenly through both feet. 2 more breaths. From emptiness, the wondrous being appears. Can you empty your mind by focusing your mind totally on your breath, concentrating your mind on one spot? One last deep inhale. Full exhale. Both hands come down towards the ground. Please step back, plank pose. Reach your right hand up towards the sky, side plank. Lift your right leg up as high as it will go. Just lift, 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 lift. Bend your right knee. And then place the foot on the left inner thigh for a tree pose. Our first tree pose, yay. Can you push your left thigh, your left leg, up? Move your left leg away from the ground. Press it up into your right foot. And then put your right hand on your right hip. And notice if your right hip has fallen backwards. Can you stack your right hip so it's right on top of your left hip? Remember, we talked about that right knee earlier. It does not need to face the sky. It does not need to be directly to the side. You can take your right knee so it faces a little to the wall you're facing, so that we can get both hips right on top of each other, both frontal hip points stacked. Reach the right arm up to the sky. Can you lift up a little bit higher? One more breath in. Open the chest. And both hands come down towards the ground. Try to hold the tree pose if you can. Push the floor away. Lift both thighs. Chest forward. Take a deep inhale. If you can, chaturanga. Upward dog. Inhale. Ooh, downward dog pose. Exhale. If that was super crazy for you, don't worry about it. Just come back to downward dog. Take a full breath in. Steady breath out. Step your feet together like one tree trunk. Come onto your tippy toes. Lift your left leg back and up. Keep both hips facing down to start with. Straighten the leg. Good. Now keep both hip points facing down. The frontal hip points face down. And now try to externally rotate the leg. Turning the left toes outwards, but keeping both hips facing down. So we're working those external rotators. Good. Now let the pelvis open and lift the left leg up higher, higher, higher to the sky. Push through both hands. Can you straighten the left leg, get it higher? Then exhale, step the foot all the way forward. Spin the back heel flat. Warrior 2 pose, come all the way up. Take a deep breath into your body. A full breath out. Can you bend into your front knee? Like get that front thigh working towards parallel to the floor. Take that right arm straight behind you as it reaches back. Reach that left hand far forward so your arms are reaching in opposition to each other. Instead of being afraid of the fire or the challenge, can you accept it and go into it? Feels so yummy. Of course, yummy is a subjective term. 3 more breaths. Maybe go a little bit lower, but complement the depth of the legs with a lifting up from the pelvic floor, up through the torso, up through the crown of the head. Last 2 breaths. Good, one last deep inhale. Maybe stay low on the exhale. Reach back, reverse warrior 2. Take a full breath in. And then exhale, take your left hand down to ground or a block on the inside of your left foot. Right hand comes across your back. Just tap your left buttock with your right hand and just say like, hello butt. So you kind of get this proprioceptive feedback of seeing what's actually going on with your left glute. Can it be nice and strong? And then release the right arm up to the sky. Turn the palm forward and reach the right arm overhead. Spiral the chest open. Draw the lower ribs in. You can take 5 steady breaths. 4. Keep lunging into the front thigh. Keep lifting your back leg almost kind of like away from the ground. So your back leg presses up to the ceiling as you bend into your front knee. The chest keeps opening. The right arm keeps reaching overhead. 2 more breaths. Okay, 1 last deep inhale. Full exhale. Come up, warrior 2 pose. Hands to hips. Please straighten your front leg. Good. And then just heel toe your back foot in a little. Turn it in. Inhale, both arms. Trikonasana. Take your left hand down to shin, ankle, or block. Your right hand up towards the sky. And can you turn your chest open to the sky? Draw your lower ribs in. Maybe look up to the thumb. Can you breathe with depth and fluidity? Three more breaths. Two. Good. One last deep inhale. Exhale, both hands to the ground. Well done. Step back, plank pose. Here we go. Right into side plank. Oh, okay. Lift that left leg up as high as we go. Let's go for it. Lift the leg, lift the leg, lift the leg. And then bend the knee. Place the foot in tree pose, in side plank. Put your left hand on your left hip. And can you bring your left hip so it's right on top of your right hip. And then reach your left hand up. Push down through the right hand. Can you get the pelvis higher? Press your right leg up, up. Lift the pelvis. Lift the side body away from the ground. Lean your chest away from the wall. Open the chest. Keep pressing the left foot down into the right leg. Keep pressing the right leg up into the foot. And take one more deep inhale. Exhale, both hands to the ground. Plank pose. Can you lift the left thigh, lift the right thigh? If this is too much for you, just step back to normal plank. Take a deep breath in, chest forward. Lower halfway to the ground, chaturanga. Upward dog or cobra, inhale. Downward facing dog pose. Full exhale, both feet to the ground, downward dog. Take a deep breath in. Full breath out. Well done. That's the tricky transition. Right leg lifts up to the sky. Step all the way forward. Inhale, both hands up, crescent lunge. Take a deep breath into your body. And a full breath out. Can you go a little lower into your legs? Like, embrace that fire. Like, whew, baby, it's getting hot in here. The teacher is starting to sweat. Pull the lower ribs in. Lengthen the tailbone down. Can you straighten that back leg as you get that front thigh a little more parallel to the floor? Take 2 more breaths. Good. One more deep inhale. Exhale, hands back, lean the torso forward. Shift forward, lean forward, lift that back leg up off the ground. Can you get both hips to face down to the floor? Both frontal hip points face down. Put your hands on your hips. Can you guide that left hip down? Roll the inner left thigh up. Straighten your left leg. It's okay to keep a little bend in your right knee, but really straighten your left knee. Good. Now as the inner left thigh rolls up, squeeze your inner thighs to the midline. Reach the center of your chest forward, get a little longer. Stretch both hands straight back. Option to stay here. If you want more challenge, reach both arms overhead. Take one big inhale, straighten through that back leg, lift the chest. Exhale, come all the way up. Lift the left knee up towards your chest, stork pose. Take a full inhale. Exhale, place it into tree pose. If you need to, you can use your hand. Hands to your heart center in prayer. Tree. Take a deep inhale into your body. And a full exhale. Okay. So it's normal to sometimes get little cramps in your feet or ankles when we balance on one foot for a bit of time. So if that's happening to you, Totally normal human experience. Often because we wear shoes a lot, the muscles in our feet aren't that strong. So it's a great way to strengthen our feet. So if you get a cramp, just shake it out and come back in. Turn your left knee to face forward. Inhale, both arms up. Stork pose. Here we go. Listen, take the left leg back and up. Standing splits, both hands towards the ground. Lift that left leg high, but keep both hips facing down. Option to stay here. You can just stay here or plant both palms. Come onto your right tippy toes and you're going to kick up handstand. If you get into handstand, I want you to keep your left leg up to the sky. I want you to externally rotate the right leg and place the foot in tree pose. So you're doing tree pose now in handstand. Squeeze your legs together and hold for 3. Wherever you are, take 2 more breaths, whether you're standing splits or you're in handstand tree pose. 1 more breath in. Both legs up if you're in handstand. Hinge at your hips, and then everyone step or jump back, chaturanga. Upward dog or cobra. Downward facing dog pose, full exhale. Well done. Right away into the other side. Left leg lifts up. Step your left foot forward. Inhale, both hands up towards the sky. Crescent lunge pose. Bend into your front knee. Press your right thigh up. Steady your eyes on one point. 3 breaths. 2. Good. 1 last deep breath in. Exhale, lean forward. Hands go back. Shift forward, lean forward, lift that back leg up. Can keep both hips facing down towards the ground. Place your hands on your hips. Turn that right hip down. Straighten that right leg. Turn your inner right thigh up. Keep a little bend in your left knee. Squeeze your inner legs towards the midline. Shoot your chest a little more forward. Option to keep both hands back. Can you lift your chest a little bit more? Lift that right leg more. Straighten that right leg. Good. Inhale, both arms overhead. Good. Take 1 big inhale. Full exhale. Good. Stork pose. Come all the way up. Big breath in. Lift the right knee nice and high. Good. Tree pose. Place the right foot in tree. Hands together at your chest. Take a steady breath in. And a steady breath out. Can you allow your heart rate to settle? The eyes are totally focused on one spot. Here we go. Inhale, both hands up towards the sky. Lift the right knee nice and high. Fun. Exhale, take the leg all the way back. Both hands to the ground. Standing splits. Option 1, just stay here. Straighten that right leg, lift it up. Keep both hips facing down. Option 2, plant your hands. You guessed it. Handstand, kick up. Option to just do a normal headstand, handstand if you're in handstand. Otherwise, externally rotate the left leg. Tree pose in handstand. Hold for 3. If you're in standing splits, just keep lifting the leg. Hold for 2. If you're in tree pose and handstand, try to straighten both legs up towards the sky. Everyone take 1 more breath in. If you're in handstand, try to hinge at the hips first. Then everyone chaturanga. Ooh. Upward dog or cobra pose. Good job, everyone. Downward facing dog pose. Take a steady breath into your body. Steady breath out. Good. 1 more deep breath in. And a full exhale. Please come down onto your knees. Grab a block if you have one. If you don't have a block, that's totally fine. You don't totally need a block. We're going to come into Dolphin Pose again. Yay, so much fun, I know. So happy to do Dolphin Pose. Hands can be around your block. If you don't have a block, interlace your hands together. Make a fist. It'll just be easier. Hands can turn into the block, or palms can turn down to the floor. Dolphin Pose, send your butt back in it. Okay. Walk your feet a little closer towards your face. Lift your right leg up. Option 1, stay here. If it's too much, keep the foot on the ground, stay in dolphin. Otherwise, kick up, pinch up. Keep your right leg up to the sky if you're in pincha, and then try to put your left foot in tree pose and pincha. Hold for 5, 4, keep breathing, 3. If you're in dolphin pose, good job, try to keep the pelvis up. 2, if your right leg is up, try to straighten it up to the sky. 1, and we'll all come down. Child's pose, take a little moment to rest. Hoi vei. Well, it's called Keller Tree Flow for a reason. We're going to be chopped wood by the end of class, which will be nice. Other side. Here we go. You're all doing good. We're almost done. Hands around the block or hands interlaced or hands palms facing down to the floor. Last dolphin. Tuck your toes. Y'all are doing good. Walk your feet in. Left leg lifts up. Option 1, just stay here. Option 2, pincha, kick up. Option to stay in normal pincha or tree pose and pincha. Left leg is up to the sky. Right knee's bent. Hold for 5. 4. If you're in dolphin, good job. Everyone push the elbows down. 3. Breathe. You've got this. 2, get the leg a little higher, ribs in. And then 1. Good job. Come down. Put the block to the side. Okay. Gosh, it really is hard trying to teach this and do this all at the same time. All right, downward dog pose. Take a deep breath in downward dog. Full breath out. Please bring your right knee towards your right wrist. Right shin comes to the ground. And then just sit onto your right butt. And bring your right shin so it's parallel to the front edge of your mat. And bring your left knee so it's just level with your right foot. It's right beside your right foot. Okay. So that's option 1. You can also take the left knee a little more to the left, directly out from the hip, or you can take the left knee a little more behind you. It's just personal preference. The further back you take the knee away from the right foot, the harder it is. Okay. Cross your forearms across your chest. So it's kind of like deer pose. Forearms across your chest. Lengthen your spine so there's no rounding. And then slowly let your torso hinge over your right leg. So you're hinging from the hip. The torso stays long, there's no rounding. And you're not resting on anything. Your arms are not resting on your right leg. You're using the strength of your right glute. So your right glutes, your right butt to support yourself. Inhale, come back up. Okay. Sometimes to make it a little more challenging, you can take your left knee a little further to the side and a little further back from you, almost like a figure 4. Inhale, get tall, and exhale, lean forward. You can go a little bit lower, but keep your spine long, don't round. And then inhale, come back up. 3 more, exhale, lower halfway down. Inhale, come back up. 2 more, exhale, lower halfway down. Inhale, come up. If you want more challenge, you just go a little lower. Less challenge, just don't go as deep. Exhale, lower halfway. Inhale, come back up. Good. 1 last time. Exhale. Good. Inhale. Good. For this one, lower halfway. Pause. You can keep the spine long, and then reach both arms overhead. Hold for 3. Hold for 2. And hold for 1, and then it slowly come up, release. And if you're like me, I definitely feel it in my right butt and my right outer leg, but I also feel it in my left side torso, like where my obliques are, my QL, and in my left hip. So you can feel it in multiple regions if you haven't done that exercise before. So left shin comes forward, parallel to the front edge of your mat. And your right knee can come right beside your left foot, or you can take your right knee a little further back. It just depends what feels nicer for your hip. Cross your forearms across your chest. The idea is that you push your left ankle, your left shin, and your left knee and thigh into the ground to support your torso as it hinges from the hip. So inhale, get tall. Exhale, lean forward, and then pause. And then try to use the strength of your left glutes, the deep external rotators, and the bones of your left shin and thigh to support yourself. Inhale, come back up. We'll do 4 more. Exhale, lower halfway. Inhale, come back up. Exhale. Maybe go a little lower. Try to keep the length in your spine, no rounding. Inhale, come back up. 2 more. Exhale. Good. Inhale, back up. 1 more. Exhale, come down. Good. Inhale, come back up. This is the fun one. Exhale, come down and pause. Maybe go a little lower. Keep the length in your spine. Reach both arms overhead. Hold for 3. Hold for 2. Can you keep the length through the spine? Hold for 1. And then come all the way up. Nice job. Bring both legs out in front of you. Give them a little shake. Everyone, you've been doing amazing. It's a little bit tough class. Bring your right foot towards your left inner thigh for Janu Shirshasana, head to knee pose. And you can notice that the foot is like tree pose again. Option to stay here, or catch the right ankle and place the right foot in half lotus. If that doesn't work for your knee or your hip though, don't worry about it. Just stay with Janu Shirshasana with the foot on the inner thigh. Okay. Inhale, reach both hands up to the sky, get really tall. And then exhale, fold over your legs. Maybe interlace your hands around your left foot, or just place your hands on the ground if that's not anywhere close for you. Can you let your head drop? And just allowing yourself to soften a little more here. So coming towards the end of practice, can you begin to let the body relax? Let the muscles in your face relax. Allow your jaw to soften and relax. And one more deep inhale. And a full exhale. Inhale, slowly come all the way up. Well done. Please bring your right leg forward. Bring your left foot to your right inner thigh. Option 1 is to just stay here for Janu Shirshasana. Option 2, lift your left ankle up and place it at your right hip crease for half lotus. Okay? Just be gentle with your knee. If it doesn't work, then just let it go. Inhale, reach both hands up. Exhale, fold over your right leg. Can you take 5 breaths? Just allowing yourself to soften. You let your shoulders relax. Let the back of your head relax. Take one more deep inhale. And a full exhale. And then inhale, slowly come all the way up. And please bring both legs straight out in front of you. Inhale, reach both hands up. Exhale, fold over both legs. Interlace the hands around the feet. Inhale, get long through the torso. And exhale, fold. Can you let your head totally drop? Can you allow for a bit more gentleness in the pose? A softening. One more deep inhale. And a full exhale. And inhale, slowly come all the way up. Please lie down onto your back. Bend your knees so your heels are close towards your butt. Press down into your feet and just gently lift your pelvis up to the sky, coming into a gentle bridge pose. Place your hands on your belly. And can you take 3 deep breaths into your belly, into your chest, as you gently squeeze your butt, lifting and opening the front of the hips. And 1 more deep breath into the belly, to the ribs, to the chest. Exhale, release all the way down to the ground with the pelvis. And please hug your knees into your chest. And let your knees fall to the right, coming into a supine twist. Turn your head to look over your left arm. Can you let your arms and your legs totally relax? And bring your legs back up through center. Let your legs fall to the left. Reach your right arm out to the right. Turn your head to the right. Can you let your whole body just relax and soften? Slowly bring your legs back through center. Center your pelvis. And please take Savasana, corpse pose. We'll stay here all together for a few moments. Can you let your legs relax? Can you let your arms relax? The feet and the hands totally relax. Can you allow your shoulders and your mouth to soften? All the little muscles in your face relax. And the space between your eyebrows softens. If you'd like to stay here a little longer, please feel free to. Otherwise, take a deep breath in and out. Wiggle your fingers and toes. Take your arms up overhead. Give your body a big stretch. Bend your knees and roll onto your right hand side. And then gently press yourself up to a comfortable seat. If you're in a comfortable seat, please bring your hands together in front of your chest, palms touching. Shin, Kyu, Myoi, Yu. From emptiness, the wondrous being appears. May you have a beautiful day. Namaste.